Hi, it's Steve and Joe from Freshagenda. Steve, we're for a quick catch-up about the latest GDT, which was a positive result.
Yes, we've a bit of a crazy day here today. More about that later, much later. We're just covering the GDT result chart of the week. Really, it was like because it's late and we get this done. So a quick run-up, building optimism, you could say. Milk powders, certainly skim milk powder was stronger. That firm forward curve in New Zealand has been much talked about recently, but European markets started to tighten as well, and even the US got involved in some optimism.
Yes.
And the whole milk market also looked upwards. It was a good pulse result last week, which lifted above the previous event, helped by Middle East bidding. So this was their expectations were strong for this, and it's a point. We had good rises across the board with powders, with fats. Cheese was the only one that let the party down.
It was pretty consistent around 4 to 5% for everything apart from cheese, which was down 1.7, I think.
And, yeah, that's right. The cheese was a bit mixed when you look at those.
All over the shop.
Yeah, and the winning bids are pretty crazy looking. So it's left us with good forward curves as well. I mean, that's quite a strong result. We've got whole milk powder going up to 2,900, skim touching 25, a little more subdued there. And this is the first skim milk powder gain in 9 events. So
yeah,
still pretty cautious, this market. In the skim result, there was this time a stronger gain for New Zealand product. The European product was also lifted, but the gap has narrowed back to, I think it's about 63 euros on average, $63 on average between New Zealand and European. The European's still getting a smaller premium. Looking on the demand stats, this was, and it doesn't really convey here because when you look at what's occurred in the main products, I won't bore you with all those little line charts.
Oh, what a shame.
It is a pity. But skim milk powder started strongly. By the time you got through 6 rounds, it had leveled out. It did extend to 14 rounds. Whole milk powder, not as strong at the start, but so the uplift in skim was due to a much stronger opening demand this time round, which pulled the result higher. We talked a bit about cheese and how that was a mixed result. I think there was a bit of an eye towards what was going on in the US because
that's actually weakened a bit, isn't it? Which is interesting. Some of the demand indicators, commercial disappearance, some of the data about retail sales in food service were reasonably positive. But
yeah, the underlying fundamentals aren't too bad. Milk is not growing very fast, but there are concerns about demand in the US. That short-term tightness is gone now, and the forward curve's flattened out quite a bit. I think if we updated that another day, you'd see that down quite a bit. But barrel prices have come off $300 to $400 in the last week, so that may have caused a blink with those bidders on GDT.
Yeah.
Wow, we have got this out of...
You are boring us with the lines.
Yeah, well, here we are. Just to keep us all guessing, here are those lines I love. You can see the strength of that opening skim milk powder demand, whole milk powder. It was interesting, the two results were similar. Percentage terms, right? This whole milk powder kicked out longer, and that does have an impact to bring the the result higher. But skim was a shorter, sharper shock. And that's the main difference. This is like a surprise treat. I never know what's coming next. We're talking about buying regions.
China, back in town and buying.
So the big outstanding feature was the uplift in both whole milk powder and skim buying from the region. The highest whole milk powder volume since November 20. in tonnage. You can see that's the pale blue line there. We've gone above, but does it mean they're back? Coming to save us? I think we have to wait for an event or two.
Yeah, what is that saying? One starling a spring doesn't make, or
Yeah.
some kind of bird.
But we've got rising volumes. The volumes going into the Chinese market are generally quite a bit down, even though the GDT volumes are up. But so it's a case of, are we seeing the start of something? The background environmentals don't support much stronger bidding.
Yeah.
But it could be about price saving or cost saving. So let's see. Southeast Asia, with China wading in, step back in both major powders. I think the other thing, if I could just go back to that one for a second.
It's going so well.
It is going well. It's as smooth as. We saw some interesting buying in AMF this time, which we didn't put on a chart because it's a non-standard entry. But Latin American AMF buying was pretty strong, which helped on, and that was the largest volume they bought for some time, and the largest that helped pull that result up as well because other regions were down. But yeah, look, generally I'd say China bought more butter. I think you've got to take away it's a very positive event. Looking for more to see if it can stick. And this gap closed a little bit.
Yeah.
In terms of the differential, that doesn't look too bizarre nowadays. The AMF premium got a little bit higher and inched towards $1,000 US on butter equivalent terms. New Zealand farmers will again be sighing,
over 7.
Over 7. It's got above 7. The SGX has been up to 745, so there's a fair bit of optimism still there about where this is going. So that's positive, for Kiwi farmers who are looking at a pretty bleak season at $7.
Yeah, and of course, what happens from here depends a lot on what that season pans out. This is the time when we're all looking to the Kiwis for what spring will bring.
They've just declared El Nino in Australia now.
Yes, it's official, and it looks like it's going to be a strong one. So less predictable the impacts on New Zealand. Isn't that right, Steve? But
it is.
Certainly for us, it'll be hot and dry.
Yeah. The other weather anomaly at the moment, or the one we are watching carefully, is what happens in Europe. So, Jo, your chart of the week selection this week comes from Europe.
Lovely segue, Steve. Yeah, we are back in Europe, and just some of the data. It's July. It's a couple of months ago, but just looking at the trends in some of the production, and skim is well down for July and for the last 3 months as well, Steve.
Yeah, the stream returns are pretty awful when you compare to the cost of milk. So stream returns for skim are low 30s in euro cents, and they're still paying near 40 cents a litre, a kilo. So that will tighten that. And what goes on, I took the liberty of adding a couple of things here, Jo, which I'm sure you like. Just the tightness of the liquids market. We've got spot prices have surged past milk prices. So things have tightened up, and cream has also gone through the roof. Not dragging butter higher yet. Yeah. Doesn't always. There's a bit of a history there where it does tend to pull it up, but you can see all those spikes in, the cream multiple over the last couple of years, and the butter price doesn't react very much until it's something that's deep set. But anyway, something to watch. Tightening in milk might occur. We're still ambivalent about European weather, that it might
give us a bit of a kick in pasture.
Yeah, and there's more discussion about that we notice on the wire, so interesting to watch. Yeah. That's all from us. Thanks for watching. We'll be back sometime pretty soon. Thanks.